You can only get timely, credible, and reliable news on your shining supreme station. Diamond 88.7 FM, Ilorin.
For the best of national, local, international news and sport, tune in to News Punch and Diamond 88.7 FM. News Punch, all about the news.
It's 2 minutes gone past 9 a.m. Good morning and thank you for joining us on today's edition of News Punch on Diamond 88.7 FM, Ilorin, where we bring you the trending stories across the globe. I am TOBI ADEBISI. Here are the stories making waves across the world. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, has revealed that the federal government has approved a pay raise for civil servants in the country. The minister said the salary increments became important in view of the current economic reality of the country. However, he added that the President, Muhammadu Buhari, is yet to approve the percentage used for the increment. This is, as he noted, that the pay rise was already included in the 2023 budget and would take effect from January 1, 2023. The new chairman of the Police Service Commission, Dr. Solomon Arase, retired, has said his administration will engender trust between the Nigeria Police Force and the general public. He also vowed to prioritize the welfare of police officers as a means of curbing corruption in the force. Arase disclosed this to State House correspondents shortly after he was sworn in by President Muhammadu Buhari as the council chamber of the presidential villa, Abuja. His inauguration comes 2 months after the Senate confirmed him as the chairperson of the PSC. On the foreign scene, Pope Francis has been admitted to the hospital with a respiratory infection after experiencing difficulty breathing in recent days and will remain in the Rome hospital for several days of treatment. The 86-year-old Pope's schedule for today and tomorrow has been cancelled, and the Pope already had a chest CT scan and his blood saturation levels were fine. According to medical sources, the Pope's situation should not be of particular concern. In sports, Barcelona booked their place in the Women's Champions League semi-finals by thrashing Roma 5-1 on Wednesday as Arsenal came from behind to knock out Bayern Munich 2-1 on aggregate thanks to a 2-0 win at the Emirates. Tournament favourites Barca had been held to a slender 1-0 advantage from the first leg in the Italian capital last week. Arsenal overcame a 1-0 leg defeat to reach the last four for the first time in 10 years in front of a record crowd of over 20,000 for a Women's Champions League game in England. That's all we have for you on this edition of the News Sponge. Up next is Diamond Breakfast Show, where we bring you the analysis of the stories. Do stay tuned.
The major talking points in Nigeria are always on the lips of the citizens.
What's going on in this country? Look at smaller countries taking lead and you call yourself giant of Africa. Yeah.
Nigeria don't spoil my business too much. Nigeria is too hard for us. I mean, I want to kill us. Father, not kill us for Nigeria. Oh, please, help us beg them.
They should reduce their expenditure so that they can free enough money for social development.
I wish for a Nigeria where we elect a leader based on competency and not popularity.
On the Diamond Breakfast Show, we place the spotlight on the critical issues in the country.
Government that says they are broke can prioritize construction of an additional runway over education of the people.
How can you hold Indomine? This is intolerable. It's provocative.
Now, you see, when you look at our democratic journey, we are yet to practice genuine democratic system in Nigeria.
Join us on Mondays to Friday on the DBS from 9 to 10 a.m. The Diamond Breakfast Show, amplifying the voice of the people.
From the studios of Diamond 88.7 FM in Ilorin, this is the Diamond Breakfast Show.
You're welcome back to the Diamond Breakfast Show. We have a lot of discussions to have, and let's get into the analysis of some of the major stories for the week. To do this with me this morning is Dr. David Aindero, the lead strategist for NIWOSEC, a public affairs analyst and social commentator. Good morning, and it's nice to have you back in the studios with us this morning. So there have been twists and turns in the political scene since the last 4 years in the plot for an interim government in Nigeria have been identified. The DSS had on Saturday warned politicians to desist from peddling hate speech and all forms of false narratives to ignite violence or pit citizens against the current government of President Muhammadu Buhari and the incoming administration of the president-elect Bola Tinubu. The secret police warning followed a petition by the Minister of State for Labour and Productivity, Festus Keyamo, that the DSS invited the Labour Party LP presidential candidate, Peter Obi, and his running mate, Dati Baba Ahmed, over their rejection of Tinubu as the president-elect. Now, it is not a mere speculation. Is this the conversation that should come after the election?
Yeah. Firstly, I think we have to really look at the whole matter. An election was conducted. There are people that have grievances against the election, but INEC had in their power, within their power, space of their power, decided to give certificate of returns to the president-elect. So, as far as we are concerned, on the 29th of May, a new president will come into power. And Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the president-elect, or let us call him the president-in-waiting. So, when DSS came up with this idea of the reality of the realness in insinuations that some people want interim government to be constituted, you begin to wonder, how is that going to happen? There are the constitutional way of means of bringing a president is already in place. Are the people going to take over the government and announce interim government? Of course no, because the people they are thinking about are not military men. The only way they can do that, if they must do that, is going to be legal, if they have that in mind. So I don't know when the DSS has become an insinuating institution. They are not even supposed to be seen. It's supposed to be secret institution. They are supposed to hear such and take appropriate action to follow up. If need be, if people are supposed to be called in for questioning, they will call people in for questioning. They are not supposed to come to the public sphere and begin to create tension where there is no tension. And if there must be tension, they are the ones that are supposed to quench the tension. So for the DSS to now be saying and making Nigerians to feel, or making themselves feel as if they are political, to begin to say some people want to take over the government, they bring in interim government through violent means, through whatever court cases. If it is court cases, there's no problem. If some people still want to protest, there's no problem. It's still within the ambit of their constitutional rights. So as long as people protest, if you call it violent protest, it's another thing. Then the police and the mobile police, the military have a work to do there. But if it is natural protest and say we are not accepting this electoral report, as long as they have gone to court and they still want to exercise the other side of their constitutional power of protesting, there's nothing wrong about it. So the outburst of DSS yesterday, as far as I'm concerned, is needless. It's needless because even if you have such, you contact the necessary appropriate organ or you work in it. But I don't know why DSS should be too much in a hurry to go to the press and give us such insinuation as if the country is about to burn. If they have gone to court to seek any injunction or they want to seek any injunction or whatever against the it's as long as the court is still part of the process, there's no cause for alarm. So if they are going to court, there's no problem. If they are protesting, there's no problem. But if they want to do violent protest, you call the necessary offices and ask them to take necessary action. So we should not see the DSS, because if you look at the statement, at a point they started saying that they are pledging their loyalty to the government and the incoming government. It's making them it's giving us a coloration as if they are political organ, and they are not. They are there to serve the whole Nigeria and not personalities. So the call of DSS is needless, and it has created a lot of tension since yesterday, and I don't think there's tension in the whole thing. If these people are decide to go to court, let the court decide. If the court decide to say, okay, we want to constitute an interim government, then as far as it's still the court of Nigeria, it's still okay. But if they have gone to, are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, if they have gone to court and they come with that, okay, we are there, we are looking at it. So that is my view about the whole thing.
All right, thank you. Having studied the developments that greeted the pre- and post-election conversation, should this be the supposed recommendation by the misguided, by the so-called, there's a quotation there, by the so-called misguided politicians?
That's what I'm saying. The DSS sounds partisan. It's not. I have not seen professionalism in that script, in that statement they brought out. It's not their business for politicians to play their game. Leave them to play their game. After all, the new president, waiting president, has not been installed. We still have a president, and the waiting president cannot be the president until May 29th. So they should not give us that impression as if they are protecting the incoming presidency. As long as the political process is still on, let politicians play their game. Anybody that's aggrieved have gone to court, and if they think that they want to express certain grievances, let them express it. It's still within their right to express. But violent protest, how do you insinuate? Have you gone into their mind? How do you sit down in your office and say they are planning? Can you take that word planning to court? Can you arrest people based on this fact that they are planning to? You are going to their thoughts to talk about what they intend to do. You are going to the court. You are going to the public court to tell us their intention. It sounds political, and it's not expected of DSS. So they shouldn't even give all this kind of tension. Let politicians play their game. As far as we are concerned, so far so good. The president in waiting is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because the certificate of return has been given to him. And on the 29th of May, he assumes office. But before then, because we have cases of Bayelsa, when a governor was to be installed tomorrow, a court still came back and said, the deputy had issues, and he was relieved. He was even practicing when he received the report, the court order, that he was not going to be sworn in. Another person was sworn in. So it's still part of the political process. In case anybody go to court and still come out and say, because of this and this, Asiwaju will not be installed because of this, if it is legal, it stands. That is when you can talk about interim government. So such insinuation from DSS is very, very needless. Very, very needless.
All right. There seems to be a problem in our information dissemination, and they set people behind the purported plan. What then do you sniff is stopping the DSS in providing the update?
The update. If they want to arrest them, if you have any strong evidence against them, invite them. In fact, the law gives you the permission to invite people for questioning.
before you even place them on arrest or whatever. You can question them. I heard that you had meetings here and there. What are the details of your meeting? What are you planning? If you have to appeal whatever, you can do that. So going to the public space is very, very needless. And you cannot insinuate. You cannot say that maybe some people are planning because they are aggrieved. If anybody can show their grievances, it's still part of the law of this country. If I'm angry, I can personally go to the government house now and show my protest. I have that right. It's my right. So you can't beg, you can't give me my right. You can't ask me, hey, please, I want to help you with your right. You can't help me with my right. So whatever anybody is doing, as long as they don't have any cogent reason to question them or call them for questioning or pass the message to the appropriate authority, please do that. Don't tell us we are going to arrest them in future. When has the DSS become a media jingoist that want to rush to the media to make a statement? Do your job. Don't come and tell us that you want to do your job. Just do your job and let the necessary thing be done. So it is very unbecoming. It is very unbecoming of the DSS to come to the public space the way they did yesterday without their statement.
All right, you can join in the conversation on 09136556864. That's the line to send in your messages, your text messages and WhatsApp messages too. On WhatsApp and through text, join in the conversation on 09136556864. And for your calls, 08000887887. 08000887887. That's the number to call to be a part of the show. Let's get this reaction. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, madam.
Hi, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm fine today. This is calling from Shao.
All right, thank you so much.
Yes, I respect the elder in the house
Thank
because I know and I'm very sure that he must be an elder. You see, one thing we should learn in Nigeria is that once a case has been taken to the court of law, there is no need for protest. If you don't believe in the law, why do you go to the law court? So those who are protesting after they are taking the case into the court, they should be called to order. Many of them are elite. They are first-class citizens in this country. They are first citizens in this country. Why are they doing that? On the issue of DSS, I don't think the DSS needs to come into the media and say all those things. If people are planning that, they know the implication of what they were doing. Because when we are planning against a government of your state, it is treating as felony. And in Nigeria, it carries death penalty. So whoever that tried to truncate May 29, then he should think it twice. Then he should be ready to face the consequence. Because when it comes, nobody should accuse anybody of any tribal sentiment. God bless them and the fact.
Thank you. Thank you for calling in on the show. You want to make a statement
No,
about
the
that?
issue of felony has not even come in. They are insinuating that they want them to install interim government after this government. So nobody is even, it's no felony, no treasonable is even established yet.
Yet.
I'm saying that whatever they are doing is still part of the process, political process that is ongoing.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Zil from Cherry Schools.
All right, thank you. Let's have you very quickly.
Yeah, you see, when a matter is in court, truly the lawyers and people always say it should be led. But you don't just leave it like that too. Not that you want to judge it, but you have to say certain things that you say people should not protest. They are protesting, even in the constitution of this country, protest is still allowed when it's peaceful. So when the people talk, they just don't want people to react because something is going on badly in this country. That they take a matter to court does not mean you cannot protest. Your protest should just be peaceful. We are not saying there is a law that says you should not protest at all. It's in our law. Then concerning this matter of DSS, I don't know who they are working for. It's like if you see something, you say something, then do something. Don't just say and then you want to, because they've been saying, it's as if the DSS and some of these law enforcement agents in this country, since this administration came, they have a way of doing things that is funny. So I totally agree with doctor in the studio that they should not be insinuating things. They should take the needed action. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for joining in on the show. You can also be a part of the conversation on 09136556864 for your text messages and for your WhatsApp messages. Let's move on to the second topic because our time is running and we really have to run with it. The population census is obviously the next civil participation that we're going to be having. Yes, it is necessary for the country to know her population, to draft more developmental policies that will cater to the growing populace. Ordinarily, it is a 10-year ritual, but the country has not been able to make it a timely, habitual exercise. All looks to be set for this population census. Nigerians are ready to participate. Just yesterday, the National Population Census denied insinuations that the 2023 Population and Housing Census would canvass questions on religion and religious affiliations of respondents. The clarification was made following a viral audio message circulating on WhatsApp insinuating that religious affiliations of respondents will be canvassed in the 2023 Population and Housing Census. In the viral message, it was also claimed that the questions were included to suppress the devotees of a particular religion in the country. It's a busy year for the country. We must acknowledge that election, population census, two massive civil exercises, if you ask me, two massive investments. How crucial is this next exercise to our country?
Thank you very much. I like the word massive investment. I would rather want us to see it as a massive waste because carrying out population census at this time is also making it a kind of ritual thing. Is out of date. It's outdated. That's not the way the world is doing it any longer. It's not supposed to be done that way. We are past that age where some people will be going to houses to count. You go to houses to count people, and it's so crude and so undeveloping. We have outgrown the period of such, and they have come again with bogus fund. And we are going to push that bogus fund, and we say that Nigeria is broke. We have just done and spent some billions on election. We have also spent billions on naira change of naira note to new naira note, and despite that, we still have to resort to the old note. We are now still going to spend billions, so we are wasting money in trillions, multiple of trillions in this country. And we'll just give it to a clique of people. They will play around with it, and we see the result. We have just seen the result of the election. We have just seen the result of the new naira note. If somebody will advise government, I will tell Mr. President, please withdraw all this money you want to give for census and share it for Nigerians. Because we have technology. You have a base of our population before. We have the royal fathers at all strata of our community, at our hamlet, villages. We can have a way of mopping and tracking birth rate and death rate. We have our national ID card that is gathering the data of Nigerians. Every Nigerian now is like very large portion we are having our identification numbers. We have a lot of data gathering that is going on. Why must some people be going around and say they want to counting people 1, 2, 3 again? And the result of the counting before has always been politicized. That's why there will be insinuations. So I think we are past that level. Let us track death rate. Let us track birth rates. Let us ask people to go and register in their villages, in their towns, communities. Let people register and let us capture Nigerians and capture their biodata. So this exercise is going to be, may end up being another waste in this country. And unfortunately, it's coming at a point where we are highly divided. So if we must do it, I think we are supposed to push it forward. Because this year, a lot of people have been disoriented. They are already pained by a lot of things. And you want to catch them out to begin to wait and stay at home for some people to be going around. And considering the insecurity that is going around, the people who will want to go to some places that they are not even sure of the security of lives and properties of those people. So this census is going to be another colossal waste of Nigerian resources. Though census is supposed to be knowing the number of people, you can't be perfect, but at least knowing the number of people in Nigeria, so in anywhere in the world, supposed to be a means of planning. It helps us to plan for Nigerians. But let me tell you, census is highly politicized. People run around to ensure that they have a bloated population, and they, just like election rigging, they also rig a population census to bloat their numbers. Go to the north, go to the south. Everybody, if not for beavers now, we would have seen bogus figures coming out from election numbers, people that voted. But if we have asked this to do, Nigeria is divided. Everybody is running to be more recognized than the others. So people will have to tell you that they are more populated than the others. So this census is coming at the time that Nigeria is divided, and I hope they will find reason to push it forward and not waste our money any longer.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. David Ayindera. We have this reaction on WhatsApp. He says, Diamond FM, you're doing well. The guest is just on point. DSS are to do the job, not to be putting pressure on people. If they want peace for the nation, they should manage the pressure. Nigerians just faced a bigger pressure, which is the cashless policy thing. They should manage it. In fact, DSS director should be queried for this normally. Please send us your name and where you sent that message from. The show is still very much on, but we'll go on a short commercial break right now. Before we go on the break, you can, while we're on the break rather, you can keep your reactions coming in on WhatsApp and through text messages 091 36556864. It's still the Diamond Breakfast Show on Diamond 88.7 FM. Stay tuned.
You're listening to Diamond 88.7 FM, shining supreme.
Shine bright like a diamond.
Kára ó lè pé bá ara ríro kò sí mọ́ àwọn ká ti sá lọ àrùnmọ́lẹ́gùn ẹ̀yìn dídùn làkúrẹ́ ìgbé wọ́n ti lọ wá bí wọ́n sí kára ó lè pé bá àmú rẹ̀ àtúrà dáadáa.
kókó lára ọ̀tá le gbéra ńlẹ̀ kó dìde kára ó lè pè ń bá àtúrà wọ̀ àtúrà pẹ̀sẹ̀ àtúrà dáadáa kẹ́gun tó kẹ́gun náà kára ó yá gágá ara ń ronú tẹ́lẹ̀ kò ronú mọ́ tẹ́ bá ti fi kára ó lè pè ń bá ra lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ ló ń ṣiṣẹ́ wọnú igun tó sì ń ṣe àtúntò rẹ̀ òṣùbù yẹ̀kẹ́ fa párọ̀ tàbí fi ẹsẹ̀ dá fi kára ó lè pè ń bá wọ̀ káì ara rẹ̀ ó lè padà yakinlala action ó jẹ́ àwọ̀ká àròmọ̀lẹ́gun làkúègbé ara ríro tàbí ẹ̀yìn dídùn kára ó lè pè ń bá lọ́kọ̀ gbogbo wọn agbára pọ̀ kára ó lè pè ń bá. Tuyi Pharmaceutical Industries Limited àwọn tó lórúkọ tó ṣe é gbẹ́kẹ̀lé níbi ká po oògùn òyìnbó ló ṣe é kára ó lè pè ń bá. ẹ̀rọ ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ pín ìrèpàtú òpèrè ta pàtà pọ́npọ́n kára ó lè pè ń bá. ó kì í síbẹ̀.
kára ó lè pè ń bá àmú rẹ̀ àtúrà dáadáa.
The federal government, through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, announces the availability of COVID-19 and childhood vaccines nationwide. with the disturbing increase in reported cases of COVID-19 infections across Nigeria. Protect yourself and loved ones from the harmful virus by getting vaccinated. Visit the nearest public or private health facility and mass vaccination sites today to receive the first, second, or booster doses of COVID-19 vaccines. COVID-19 vaccines are given to persons 18 years and above, including pregnant women and breastfeeding mothers, while childhood vaccines are given to children from birth to 5 years for protection against polio, hepatitis, yellow fever, measles, meningitis, and other vaccine-preventable diseases. All vaccines are free, safe, and effective. For inquiries, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng or call 0700 220 1122.
This message is brought to you by the National Primary Health Development Agency in collaboration with the Nigeria Red Cross Society with support from the Africa CDC SLL program.
You're listening to Diamond 88.7 FM.
You're welcome back to the Diamond Breakfast Show on Diamond 88.7 FM, and the conversation still continue on the population census. We took on that before we went on the break. The next question plaguing the mind, I love that you touched on this before we went on the break. You said that this the population census is another colossal waste that Nigeria is about to invest in, not so much of a gain. No, and you said that normally it's supposed to be something that would help us plan for the nation and for the people. Yes, but unfortunately, there are ways that things go down in Nigeria. So if you're sending in your reactions, you can send a reaction concerning that. Do you also share the sentiment that the population census coming up is bound to be a waste? Do you also think that would be the case? Now, why I made mention of that is because I want us to go down memory lane. The 2006 census, let's recap. Let's make a recap on that. Yes. Do you think that lived up to the supposed, expectations?
You remember that even Lagos had to do their own census alongside with federal government. Lagos, when Tinubu was governor, they had to do their own census because nobody trusted what national population census is coming with. And they believe that there are other census that some countries, some states wants to come up with more population than each other. So there is this viscosity among the states when it comes to tension. There's this tension. The people wants to tell you, they say there are some places called Bashiga, don't go there to count. We are going to go there in to count for you. There are a lot of places where I'm talking about census supposed to be driven by technology, not the manual census that we are doing. It's not good. It has not helped, and it's not going to help because Nigerians individuals, they are involved, and it's going to. In fact, the standard has changed. We have a base. Let us begin to add and subtract. Let us gather the data of Nigerians. What is I said something about this, our periodic mentality, that everything we want to do it periodically. We'll tell you, like now that INEC has finished their job, we believe that INEC has finished their job, then the election cycle will start again in the next 3 years. No. Anybody that wants to register now can still go to INEC to register. It should be a continuum. And just like census, they have not been doing anything, waiting and issuing back and whatever certificate. Without the people that if you have dead man, you don't even bother to take it to them. They are supposed to enlighten Nigerians to take their death cases, their bad cases to them, so that they keep registering and updating the data. So if you recall, when Governor Tinubu that time issued a figure, because they believe that Lagos is the potpourri that carries the whole Nigerians, and he is the one carrying their liabilities of Nigerians, and they want people to rush down home to be counted, like the situation that happens in Lagos now. The Igbos, are they going to be in Lagos to be counted as Lagosians, or they want to rush back home to blot up the population of their town? And you've now been seeing people saying, please come home, come and be counted at home, even when they are not living at home, because you made it a periodic thing. So people will have to rush that home so that they be counted, and the figure of their state or their community will increase.
Will increase, yeah.
So that they will be, but they are constituting liability. Or when I say liability, I'm not saying personally they are liability, but they are constituting a kind of liability to another state. But they have gone home to be counted at home. There are a lot of Lagosians, there are people living in Lagos that are working in Lagos, but they are living in Ogun State. And there are issues that time that said, people felt, you are from Ogun State. When the issue of tax come, they said, look, you are paying your pay as you earn in Lagos because you are working in Lagos, but you are a liability of Ogun State. And we are the one managing all your liabilities. All these things will begin to come up. Northerners want to be more. And Southerners want to prove that they have improved. All these things will come, and I'm not sure that we are ready to carry such burden again. I haven't carried a lot of things with Naira manipulations and election matter.
All right, thank you. This is Mike from Geralimi. DSS is not supposed to be political because it is detrimental to their reputation and public trust. Insinuating that some people have a proposed plan without supporting empirical evidence just makes one doubt their capability. And moving on to WhatsApp, I have this very cogent observation. It says, I appreciate Dr. Indero for his take. I want him to discuss on the protesters at Military Defense Headquarters begging the military to come and take over in order to prevent the 29th May inauguration. Is protest of that kind too civil or what? Oladimeji Ifeoluwa, what would you say about that very quickly, Dr. Indero?
I think that is a protest taken too far.
Yeah.
I'm a Democrat. I believe in democracy. So, and I don't have to teach the law enforcement agent, even the soldiers, the military headquarters that they went to. They are the ones that are supposed to arrest them. You don't have to. Nigerians, we have to wait for them to arrest us. Instead of DSS to do the needful now, they are making press statements.
They're coming to make, yeah.
So let the military, that if you come to military and say, come and take over, and you know that it's against the law, they are supposed to match them. So that by this time, they have made good news. Instead of them to tell us, we are only seeing on social media. I don't know if it's recent. I have not confirmed it. But if it's actually recent and they have done that, even the military headquarters that they went to supposed to have marched them into their cells and handed over to the police. It's a protest taken too far. We don't want military to take over Nigeria because I still want my freedom to speak. Yeah. I still want my freedom to do my things. If Nigeria is so, most of the time we are very unfortunate to find ourselves in the hand of military dictator that is not progressive, and you know them by names. So by the time you bring such among the military men into power, Nigeria is doomed, and it's no longer fashionable for military to take over again. So we don't want it, but I expect the military authority not to massage their ego. They're supposed to just march them and say you're under arrest for calling for the military to take over Nigeria.
All right, this is Julius from Olorunshogo. The DSS said that said person are holding meetings with plans to have violence protests. The information that is not readily available to most Nigerians, they should also protect the president-elect because the president is waiting, is a Nigerian and also a Nigerian that we have invested so much on. The DSS has just raised a red flag which to all those planning such evil know that they are being watched. No court has the right by our constitution to install an interim government. There is nothing wrong in raising the red flag as the DSS has just done. That is from Julius, coming from Olorunshogo. What do you think about the population census? Let's talk about that. Good morning, presenter. The guest is being biased. The Igbos should go home to be counted in their home states since their votes doesn't count in Lagos.
That's it.
Or
That's
are you planning to
follow.
ask Oluomo to stop them from traveling? Tony from Amsterdam. Okay, I also have this. Good morning. The guest in the studio has said more reality, but Nigerian government has not developed to the extent of using technology to carry out census and using of technology.
I expect that